Hey, I'm Spencer for energeticcity.ca, and this is the Community Roundup, which is sponsored by Brad's Furniture and Appliances, and it's dimly lit because we're going to be talking a little bit about a documentary night that's coming up here at the North Peace Museum. I'm here with Heather. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing well. So the 80th anniversary of the Alaska Highway is coming up really quickly, and you have quite a few celebrations kind of in the hopper. But you have the first documentary night since the pandemic, which has been a very long 2 years. So can you tell me a little bit about how it feels to kind of be able to have a documentary night again?
It's pretty amazing. We are limiting it to only 50 people. So the first 50 people who come, doors open at 6:30, and the documentary starts at 7. It's about an hour. And so it was done in 1992 for the 50th anniversary. I was talking to a volunteer earlier this week, and it's hard to believe it's been 30 years since then already.
Yeah, that was, I think, 5 years before I was born.
So anyway, it looks at the highway in 1992, but it also looks at the history of the highway. There's some original footage. They consider different routes for the highway, so there's some cool footage we've not shown yet of a motorcycle trying out one of these routes, which didn't ultimately get chosen. And there's some footage of the construction and so on. So yeah, it should be fun.
That's awesome. And that's on, I think, this Friday, April 22nd.
Yeah, at 7. Yeah.
Excellent. And then what other so do people need to register beforehand?
No, it's just the first people to come. So doors open at 6:30, and we'll be limiting it to 50 people. We just don't have that much room, and with the pandemic, we still want to play things on the safe side. Mm-hmm. Masks are recommended, but it is up to you whether you wear them or not, depending what health guidelines are at that time.
Absolutely, and the Vax Pass is dead and gone, so we're not looking at that.
Not looking at that.
Okay. What other celebrations do you have planned for the 80th anniversary? I feel like that's a pretty big one.
Yeah, so we're doing our Alaska Highway Cemetery tour again. So this is at the main cemetery on 100th Ave. So it looks at several people buried there and their connections to the Alaska Highway. So some people worked on it, some people rented out their houses, and there's a whole bunch of different connections and so on. So it's a pretty cool cemetery tour. So the first one of those is going to be May 27th at 7 p.m. And it'll also be offered on a Wednesday in July as well.
When it came to kind of constructing the Alaska Highway, did a lot of people kind of rent out their houses, like just to have people stay, like soldiers to stay in it while they built the highway? Because I know a little bit, but I don't know too much.
So I was thinking more of Dave Chili rents out his garage.
Okay.
So not necessarily just houses, though some people did have space in their houses. But we were a little town of, 350 or so people then. Mm-hmm. And then thousands of American soldiers came to town. Wow. So it was a real life-changing experience, though they mostly were in a Camp Elkan, just outside of town on the way to Charlie Lake. Okay. There were lots of offices and stuff in here. There was a lot more demand for restaurants. People in town were pretty upset. They used to be able to just go to their favorite restaurant and sit down, and now there are lineups at the door.
That's fair. I'd be pretty upset about that too. And then behind us we have the Alaska Highway exhibit.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about the items that are kind of in there? I see a really lovely rain jacket situation.
Yeah, so this is set up more to represent the surveying, because surveying was a huge part of figuring out where the road went. They knew approximately where they wanted, which communities they wanted to go, but not how to get from one community to another. Mm-hmm. So really starting at Charlie Lake, they needed surveyors to figure out the best route for the road. So we have some Indigenous guides in the background on horses, and then we have a bunch of surveying equipment, such as our theodolite and the stand that it would have gone on. And then we have some real American soldier clothing from the late Sue Popescu. And so this guy's wearing an anorak because you needed all sorts of different clothing for the different weather you experienced on the highway.
So I think despite the climate crisis, not much has changed.
Yeah, only it would have been a lot worse, I think, then to go in the bush.
Likely, yeah.
In terms of colder weather and tons of mosquitoes compared to what we have counted.
Yeah, that's so fair. Excellent. Well, it sounds like you have a lot of interesting things. Can you bring popcorn to the event?
You cannot. We only have food in the museum on special occasions. So.
What's that?
So
Will
would
that be the
like our
100th
Christmas
anniversary?
tea or something?
Oh, okay, the Christmas tea. Okay, yeah. So please don't bring popcorn. If you're going to have popcorn, like eat it beforehand. I know it's not the same, but at least you have some. You know. Excellent. Is there anything else you want to add?
In September, we hope to do some more presentations to do with the African Americans on the highway and meeting up at Contact Creek. So we'll just see how things go pandemic-wise and take it from there.
For sure. Oh man, isn't that the way? We'll see what happens when we get there.
Yeah, but you can always follow us on Facebook. We'll have lots of Alaska Highway related posts as well. So.
Excellent. Yeah, and that's the best way to kind of keep in contact with or
Yes.
keep updated. And then you write a column for us every little bit.
Yes,
So
yeah.
keep your eyes peeled for those. Kind of gives you an update about what's going on at the museum. Excellent. Well, thank you so much for having me, Heather. It's always a pleasure to come hang out at the museum. You guys are open 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, and then Saturday, I believe it's
11 to 4.
11 to 4. Completely wrong. All right. Well, this has been the Community Roundup, which is sponsored by Brad's Furniture and Appliances. I'm Spencer for EnergeticCity.ca, and this has been Heather with the museum. Always a pleasure. Heather, thank you so much.
Thank you.